Hey guys, it's Isa, and I guess this is my Let's Plant video. The challenge has been issued by Chuck from Cerriscapades. I don't know if it's a challenge or he just wants us to garden while he has that harsh Australian winter. So I thought I'd give you guys a little preview and update of what I've done with my outdoor hardy succulent rock garden so far. Let me just zoom out here. So this is what I have right now as far as my raised bed goes. If you look here, you will recall this a couple videos back. I will link it below. I had a video of what it looked like when it was just waking up, and this is the garden. If you compare the two videos, everything is really lush. So I decided to, for now, keep this area right here more or less as is, because everything is just doing so well. This is just kind of growing in my native soil, really. No special like succulent soil or anything. So this sedum right here is a gorgeous stone crop. It will have beautiful russet red flowers in the fall. This sedum Angelina right here, I absolutely love this color. It's great to use in the garden, and I have it all over the place. And if you look, it's actually going to produce blooms very, very shortly. I would say any day now. Then I have some other sedums planted here that just exploded. I don't remember the names right now, but these are just my little outdoor guys. This right here I have yet to plant. This is sedum Cape Blanco, I believe. It's cold hardy and it is absolutely beautiful. Those little rosettes, just adorable. So over here I have, oh, I missed something. So this is the hen and chicks sempervivum that I am leaving in this area. The other ones I have transplanted into the succulent bed, the raised bed. The reason I like this one is because all of these chicks that it has are kind of on these long dangly appendages as opposed to just squished against the mother plant, so I really like that. These are kind of rooting here, and if you look closely, they themselves are producing little chicks. Like right there's one. So I think it's adorable. So I don't know, I mean, this area design wise it's kind of weird, but I think I'm going to keep it for now. Over here I'm going to have to bridge the gap between the raised bed and this old area. These grasses are not positioned the way they will stay, but this is called a blue fescue or an Elijah blue grass. It is not a succulent. It's a perennial in my area, which means I will cut it back when winter comes, and then it will grow back out next spring. They go really well with succulents, though. They have like great texture and great color. So what I'm probably going to do is I have more rocks, so I'm going to lay down the rocks and plant among the rocks. As far as the raised bed, I don't plan to make any more raised beds here on the side of the house. I'm just going to keep one, and then I'm going to till some succulent soil into my native soil and plant sedums and grasses, etc., directly in the ground. So my raised bed, goodness gracious, I had fun doing this. This is what it looks like right now. I kind of designed as I planted. What I did first was I started on this end right here. I essentially had just my dirt, flat surface, and on it I started kind of making a sort of like a oval or whatever you want to call it with big rocks. And I would try to stack them so that they would be as close together as possible. You can see, weeds, of course. Not an exact science by any means, so I am sure dirt will escape and everything. So what I did was I started putting all these rocks around, right? God, I'm so good at this filming stuff. Can't even point. Anyhow, so what I did was I sort of kind of worked in these half circles. Like I did this, I started here first. So what I would do is I would make this portion, I would kind of partition it off just with a piece of rock so that I wouldn't have soil spilling over. And then I would fill it with, I bought some succulent soil and I mixed in some perlite. So the raised bed doesn't have any of my native soil, which may be a bad idea actually. So I did that, and then additionally, so this is like the first layer. Then what I did is on that layer, I put some smaller rocks right here, and then made kind of like a planting on top of it. There's a rock that I just kind of laid. This is a huge rock. It actually goes all the way down to the ground level. So in this little raised area, I planted what is actually not a succulent. It is an alpine plant, and here in the US and in Europe it's called Edelweiss. However, in Poland, where I'm originally from, we call it Szarotka. It is a fairly rare plant for the Polish mountains. You're not allowed to pick it or anything. It's a weird guy, to be sure. It kind of has a special emotional meaning for me in connection with my mom, who's been gone for a while now and such. So if this guy lives, it is kind of a gorgeous, very, very fragile and delicate, I would say thriller, if you want to call it as such, but I wanted to give it a place of prominence. And around it, I had taken apart my chocolate hen and chicks sempervivums, and at first I was like, Lordy, they are not going to do very well. You can see they are having kind of babies of their own. But honestly, I watered this a couple times and now they are firm. And I think they're happy. I think they're going to do just fine. They were pretty much deformed because of how they grow, next to the hen. They're just like squished right in there with the hen. As far as like all of the sedums that you see here, those are little cuttings without roots. I just kind of clipped them from some other sedums that I had, and I tucked them in with the idea that they will spread. And these guys are firm and rooting, and they're doing well. So I tried to leave some space for these plants because they grow very rapidly and they spread. So color scheme has been a challenge. Like this is kind of silverish, so I tried to plant red around it. Probably gonna plant some reds over here and such. So but that's another thing I'll be working on later on. So just to continue with this bed here, so again, nooks and crannies. The whole idea is that these guys are going to help keep the dirt in and keep this raised bed together. So I tried to be creative, and I tried to leave them some room, and at the same time I tried to just tuck stuff in everywhere I could, just little guys here and there. I know they will grow quickly, so these things have been acclimating very well. This is probably my biggest sempervivum, and honestly I think it is going terminal because it is really elongating in comparison to like the other ones. So I think there will be a big flower coming, and that'll be the end of that one. It has a few chicks here, but most of the chicks are with the smaller babies. I had purchased this a couple months ago. I took it apart and I planted it in a pot, and it sat outside in a pot until I got around to doing the raised bed project. So some more little sedum cuttings over here, doing really well. So these guys, the cobweb hens and chicks, right, definitely going totally and obviously terminal. They're going to flower any day, and I have a feeling they're going to be gorgeous. Look at that. I'll probably take some pictures for Instagram. So really excited about that, and I have like a ton of these. So this is a really pretty sedum. Totally forget the name right now, but it's gorgeous. It's so delicate, and I love the color. It's silver, but it's an unusual kind of silver. So I do not remember the name of this sedum. I love it though. It is kind of purplish greenish. It'll, I think, bloom like a pinkish red, and it is just gorgeous. It's kind of still getting used to this You know, I kind of ripped it apart a little bit when I was planting it. Oh, and that, by the way, is water. Huh, I wonder what it's doing here. I think it rained just a little bit this morning. So, and again, that's like a water droplet. So this is like the eastern side of the house. So this gets a lot of morning sun. And now it's in the shade. Well, it's kind of cloudy right now, but it's the afternoon, just got home from work. So an interesting thing right here. This is an Opuntia compressa, and it is the only cactus native to New England and to my state of Connecticut. I will try to find some in the woods. It's been a while since I saw it, but it's basically like a creeping Opuntia, kind of creeps along on the ground, and these individual pads will let out roots. Actually, a pad fell, and if you lift it, it has like 2 little roots. I'm not gonna lift it because this sucker is prickly. You can hardly see the little spines, but it will get in your skin and it will hurt, and you will not be able to get rid of it. So, some more hens and chicks over there. I see I have a fellow that I need to plug back in. So I have bunnies and chipmunks and squirrels in my yard, and they've been pretty good at leaving the succulents alone, but you never know with them. Sometimes they mess with them. Over here I actually planted a little patch of what's called a sedum carpet. I will show you. I purchased one specifically to have a lot of cuttings, and I just kind of cut up a piece of the sedum carpet and planted it here, and I think it looks really cool. So one more really cool thing in this raised bed is called the Sempervivum oddity. This is a very unique Sempervivum. If you look, it has like these little cylindrical leaves, right? The funny thing is, I bought these at Lowe's, which is like a big box store here, a garden store, and I think they were originally $12 or $13, and there were 6 of them, and I purchased them for $3. So what a bargain, and how beautiful they are. So I really look forward to all of these things growing, filling in the raised bed. I think it's going to be fun. So that's the raised bed right there. So I found it very interesting to construct. It was challenging to get the colors, to get the rocks looking decent. My fear is, how will they overwinter, because they are raised above ground level, and what happens when in the winter I get heavy snowfall onto these rocks. But the only thing I can do is wait and see, and if need be, start again next year. I don't know. So further plans. You can see this is the rest of the side of the house, all the way through there. I had my basement windows redone, so there's a lot of mess here. But you can see what I have growing here right now is 3 shrubs that I planted last fall. This one, it's a euonymus. This is a barberry right here, and another euonymus. Lots of dug up dirt here that I was using in other areas of the garden. And over here is a beautiful spirea and some alyssum and so on and so forth. And that's some other part of the garden that is non-succulent related, so I'll step away from that. However, what I wanted to show you is that I bought some really cool sedums to use. So I'll plant this basically up. I'll till the succulent soil into my native soil, and I'll use rocks. And I wanted to show you, this is actually the sedum carpet that I bought. So I will be using this for cuttings, and I will plant it around. And then I bought several sedums that I'll be planting. So sedum angelinus, I think there's 4 of those. Another one of those purple sedums, a dark green sedum, dark red sedum, and like a brownish one. This one is actually flowering. So I think it'll be really exciting. So I'll keep planting, and I will let you guys know once it's all done. I'll show you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.